Mga kaibigan, ang ating pong susunod na guest is the president of the Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas or yung KBP. At the same time, siya rin po ang presidente ng Manila Broadcasting Corporation and one of the trustees ng several organizations, trade organizations in the Philippines. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the show our president, Mr. Roberto June Nicdao. Good evening, Mr. President.
Good evening, Jen. Good evening sa lahat ng ating mga nakikinig. Ikaw pala yun?
Wala nang iba, Pres. With me tonight is DJ Piolo from our Baguio station.
Piolo? Piolo ba?
Oh, no, Rico. Kasi ikaw i-interview ko. Nervous ako tuloy sa'yo. Anyways, Pres, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you and also your leadership kasi you made a bold stand sa mga pangyayari pong ito. I'm just curious kasi, Mr. President, recently, KBP took a very bold and strong stand dun sa pag-shutdown sa ABS-CBN. This is unlike yung reaction ng KBP na medyo subtle, medyo tahimik, medyo discreet if for lack of better term, kumpara doon sa mga before bago po pumutok itong issue ng pag-shutdown ng ABS-CBN. What's behind the decision of your pivot, Mr. President?
Well, I think yung decision to take a more, as you said, bold stand is because of our disappointment with the NTC, no? Unang-una. Because our expectations, it's all about the expectations. Our expectations was that before nag-end yung session ng Congress, meron kasing agreement na between the NTC at saka yung legislature, both houses of Congress, Senate and the House of Representatives, na magbibigay ng provisional authority yung NTC sa ABS so that they can continue to broadcast, to operate until their application for renewal of the franchise is finally decided on, whether it's for or against, no? Mm-hmm. So ang basis naman natin doon is that the Secretary of Justice, sinabi niya, ang opinion ng Secretary of Justice, as long as maglabas ng joint resolution yung Senado at saka ng Kongreso, affirming the validity of issuing a professional the validity of giving a provisional franchise, gagawin ng NTC yon. So nung nag-issue ng CTO, lahat tayo nagulat at this was not in accordance with our expectations. Ang expectation natin, walang problema, especially and this is what aggravated it, no? The fact that ABS-CBN is performing an important role in combating this pandemic, no? Both in terms of its information dissemination, plus its role in helping alleviate the conditions of the most vulnerable in society, di ba? Nakapag-raise sila ng over 230 million pesos to help in the campaign to help the poor people. So it was a big disappointment. It was the worst time to shut it down, no? Both because it was making a big contribution in terms of information dissemination at saka dun sa fundraising. So that's number one. Of course, the other aspect of ang na nilagay natin sa ating position was the fact that meron din namang issue about the speed about Congress, no, not acting on it. Dapat naman kasi alam naman nila nang mangyayari ito because although nag-issue yung Secretary of Justice ng opinion niya, everybody's saying there's still a risk. And ito nga ang nangyari, no? I think the former Chief Justice Puno mentioned that sa Constitution. I mean, there are always two sides of the legal argument, sabi nila, no? So one side is what the SOJ, the Secretary of Justice, said, and the other side is what the Solicitor General and the former Chief Justice Puno said, na pag walang franchise, hindi pwede mag-operate. So that could have been solved if Congress acted on expeditiously on the application. So sabi natin, talagang napakasama, and hindi na dapat umabot sa closure ng isang member natin. At and this member is not just a small member, no?
Yes.
Bagay, pagkait na maliit na member natin.
It's a major network, yes.
Hindi dapat nagsara talaga yan.
So,
yun ang reason kaya naging mas bolder ang stand natin.
Two things, Mr. President. You said that the timing is wrong kasi given the pandemic, no, given the COVID-19 that we're experiencing. But I remember sometime February, I just can't remember there's an interview, a radio interview done by DZMM. Ito yung si Dos por Dos. Ang sabi po nila sa isang congressman in interview nila, tinanong nila yung status dun sa status ng pag-renew ng franchise. Hindi pa kasi na isasalang yung kanilang renewal yung application for renewal sa committee hearing sa schedule. Ang sagot po ng congressman na ito, sabi niya they're so busy with the taking preparations for the COVID-19, etc., etc. So they're quite full. The schedule is quite full. Do you think yung issue ng pag-shutdown ng ABS-CBN could have been easily averted kung tinakal ito noon pa, pati yung may mga issues na sinasabi na meron daw sila sa BIR, may mga issues silang ni-raise, yung of course yung we all know, I mean the whole Philippines know na yung issue ni presidente sa kanila. Sa tingin niyo po ba, Mr. President, sa pananaw ng isang broadcaster, sa tingin niyo po ba kung ito ba dapat na ni-resolve na noon pa sa hearing, paano naman magkakaroon paano naman mariresolve yun kung hindi naman nga sila isinasalang? Saan po ba nagkaroon ng problema?
Yeah, actually, the answer to your question is absolutely yes. Natumbok mo yung issue, Jen. No? Talagang ang naging problema, hindi na sinalang. Kasi kung sinalang yon, ang application ABS was filed way before this pandemic, no?
To 2016, tama ba, Mr. President?
2019 pa na-file itong application na lang uli.
2019.
Actually, nag-file na sila noon pa. Hindi nasalang. So, natapos yung session ng Kongreso, yung previous Congress, no? Hindi nasalang. Tapos nag-file ulit sila nitong bagong Kongreso at hindi pa rin nasasalang. So I don't think it's a valid excuse yung sinasabi na busy sila sa pandemic, discussion about the pandemic or even about the taxes na I don't think that was a valid excuse, no? Because alam natin, there are other applicants na nakasamahan din naman natin at alam natin kasi natin to At nauna pang ABS-CBN doon sa ibang applicants. So bakit yung iba na discuss? At in fact, yung lahat nitong natakal sa Congress, mabilis, umabot na nga sa Senado, nasa Senado na yung mga bills nila. And I'm sure, kung umabot sa Senado yung ABS-CBN, Congress would have done something about it para mapasa to. No? So, doon tayo nanghihinayang. It was a tragic event or a tragedy that could have been easily averted had the Congress acted on it expeditiously. Yun lang.
Mr. President, ang publiko hindi masyadong alam na ikaw ay isang consistent na leader na pinuno ng kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas because consistency is one of the key traits or characteristics ng pagiging isang leader. Tama, do you agree, Mr. President?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Pero I want to play this soundbite, not to put you on in an awkward situation, but just this one.
Para wala na tayong pagtalunan, para matapos na yung usapan, we will begin the process of turning on your transmitter by giving you a franchise until October 31, 2020. And we will not pass the buck. We will have the hearing, tatapusin namin to, at tao magja-judge kung dapat kayo bigyan o hindi ng prangkisa.
Mr. President, was he consistent? And if so, what happened?
Actually, let's put it this way, no. There are two things there. They said this is the speaker saying that they will give them a franchise by October. Unfortunately, I think if I recall correctly, binanggit niya yon, medyo patapos na ang session. I'm referring to the action that should have been done even before that statement was given, no? So ang nangyari dito, I think what the speaker said. In fact, we had a meeting with the speaker. Ang sabi niya, busy sila ngayon. Hindi na natin question yun. And he assured us that as soon as mag-resume ang session ng Congress, mabibigyan ng prangkisa ang ABS until at least up to October, sabi niya. In fact, yung sinabi niya yun, I remember that. Sabi niya, ako mismo mag-turn on ng transmitter nila. This was actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, just before they asked NTC to give them an assurance na magbibigay ng provisional provisional authority. So,
yes.
I'm not blaming the speaker on that. Kasi that was just before the NTC told them na magbibigay ng provisional authority. We attended, in fact, including yung presidente ng Vanguard, yung napakagwapong executive vice president.
Very much.
Agree ka ba doon? Kasama namin si Mr. Noel Galvez doon, nandun kami sa Congress. At tinakil yun, at nandun ng NTC at in-assure ng NTC na nabibigyan ng provisional authority. Because, in fact, sabi, pinakita pa niya yun. We got already the ano tawag nito, yung opinion ng Secretary of Justice. So they were assured. In fairness to I'm not being political here, but if you look at that particular statement was mentioned just before the assurance ng NTC. And at that time, mukhang ganun na yung because if I remember correctly, sinabi na rin, nag-opine na rin yung Secretary of Justice na pwedeng magbigay ng authority yung provisional authority ng NTC as long as merong joint resolution. And that meeting that we attended in Congress was precisely to come up with a joint resolution. So the assurance of the speaker was based on those events. No? Na, sabi ng SOJ, pag merong joint resolution, makapagbigay ng PA ang NTC. And that's what we were expecting. So yun ang disappointment talaga
Kaso
natin.
hindi yun na nangyari, Mr. President.
Oo. Bakit biglang? In fact, ang itong question all the while, the NTC was asking the legal opinion of SOJ. Tama ba yun? Di ba? Sabi niya, we will ask ng Secretary of Justice. So, yun ang pagiging basis namin sa decision-making namin. Yeah. Nagbigay ng opinion ng SOJ, at ang the SOJ opinion was, as long as merong joint resolution, makapagbigay kayo. So, that should have been a closed case, di ba?
Yes.
We should not have this problem right now. So, ang naging disappointment natin sa CDO na nilabas ng NTC is tinanong ng SOJ itong opinion nyo, and I will believe your opinion. Tapos biglang ang naging basis daw ng issue ng CDO, yung legal department daw nila ni-review uli at hindi raw pwede. Bakit ba umingi ng opinion sa SOJ, di ba?
Correct.
And that
Only to disregard that later.
In my thinking, the Secretary of Justice has the opinion of the Secretary of Justice would have a heavier weight in your decision making than your legal department, di ba?
That's true.
In my opinion lang, kasi Secretary of Justice I mean, he's supposed to be the legal advisor of the executive, di ba?
That's right, Mr. President. Kaya nga po, yun ang nakakapagtaka kasi parang mas merong unseen hand, if I may say, yun naman ang opinion ko, na may pressure na mas sinunod or naging mas matimbang para sa decision ng NTC to shut down nga ang ABS-CBN.
We don't know about that, and that's why I think if I'm not mistaken, nakakita ako ng hearing na pinatawag ni Chairman Alvarez, Franz Alvarez of the Franchise Committee, no?
The chairman.
Ang pagkaalam ko, nakita ko yung yung notice for a hearing calling the NTC to explain why they reneged on their promise to issue provisional authority. Hindi ko alam kung hindi tayo nakapag-attend noon because of this the quarantine. And I think that was also part of the reason why nagka-issue, na-issuean na ng extension for, I think, hanggang October, hindi ba?
Yes. October 31.
Yes. Unfortunately, nasara at while hindi pa, and ang proseso, alam naman natin sa Kongreso, it goes through a series of hearing, no? So as far as I know, tapos na sa committee hearing, pupunta ito sa plenary na second and third reading. So may proseso yan, it takes time. Pagkatapos ng Kongreso, pupunta pa sa Senado to. And again, that will take time, no? It goes through first hearing, tapos committee hearing, second hearing, and then third hearing. So, ilang hearings yun?
Correct.
So, bago matapos itong proseso na to, it will take, I don't know, at the very least, a few weeks, no? So, in the meantime, while we need the services of a big broadcast network like ABS-CBN, we're not getting that. That's the unfortunate fact of
Well,
the matter.
sana, Mr. President, magmilagro at tumakbo ng mas mabilis ang proseso, hindi ba? Mr. President, si Rico John, I think, would like to ask you a couple of questions. Rico?
Good evening, President Nicdao. Alam niyo po itong pagsara po ng ABS-CBN, nagbigay pong daan na magkaroon po ng division between groups, pro and anti. And even us, we experienced that. I mean, sharing the statement of the kapisanan ng mga broadcasters ng Pilipinas alone on our pages, nagkaroon po ng espasyo yung aming friends list bigla ng almost 20% na wala yung mga pro. So what are your thoughts about this, sir? Is it a norm now na pagka-antay ka, pag pro ka?
That's the unfortunate consequence itong nung issue ng pagkasara ng ABS-CBN, no? Medyo nagkaroon ng as you said a conflict among friends even, no? Because alam naman naging politicized ang issue. Because they tagged the network as I mean, at least the ones on the one side, on the one hand, are saying that ABS-CBN is anong tawag nito, is affiliated very much with the Liberal Party. Sabi nila makadilaw to. Whether it's true or not, we'd like to believe. I mean, this as a member of KBP, and we observe the broadcast of ABS-CBN naman, and alam naman natin pag merong mga reklamo, dinadala sa KBP yan. We'd like to think that ABS-CBN has been to a large extent fair in their reporting. So whether it's true or not, unfortunately, it caused division, and ang division among people, no, among the citizens, and this is the unfortunate consequence itong nangyari ito because naging political matter ito, no. Yung mga kakampi nung syempre nung nakaside sa administrasyon, they applaud the closure of ABS-CBN. And I'd like to think that a lot of our members, if not all of our members, plus a lot of the people didn't like what happened, especially yung mga fans ng ABS-CBN. We know that in this country, there is a high level of loyalty na sa mga tinatangkilik natin mga stasyon ng TV or even stasyon ng radyo. There's a high level of loyalty in the broadcast business, di ba? So ang hindi basta-basta lilipat ang mga tao sa isang stasyon because they follow their plans, they have faith in the in the anchors. They're the source of information, and they believe in the yung sa paninindigan ng mga anchors nila. So siyempre dalawang stasyon to, they're loyalists for one station and the other. They're loyalists sa political spectrum din. Yung mga whatever color it is, yellow or blue or whatever, siyempre nag-aano din yan, nag-aaway both mainly on social media actually, no. This is the unfortunate fact of the matter. I hope hindi umantong ito sa mas malala pang pangyayari, no. So yun lang masasabi natin about the consequence ng pagkahati ng mga naging politicized itong pagkasara ng ABS.
Yeah, well said.
Final question from my side, Sir June. Marami hong mga statement na nakita natin sa social media na syempre, kamiyembro nyo ang ABS-CBN, so kailangan yung kampiyan sila. What are your thoughts about this, sir?
Yeah. Well, that's not necessarily so, no? Kasi we've had a track record na pag mali ang member natin, sasawayan natin yan. In fact, meron na mga members tayo in the past, sinaway natin, and this is a free world. Some of them decided to leave. Unfortunately, for some of them, they came back when they realized that the KBP was just doing its job. No, that's not true. In fact, ABS-CBN, I mean, that's not true na because member natin ito sinusupport na. Of course, we promised our members, in so far as the issue of renewal of franchise, as long as walang nilalabag na batas that merits the non-renewal of the franchise, we will always support our members in the renewal of franchise. In fact, ang ginagawa natin sa KBP, ang mga offices ng KBP, basta may hearing sa Congress o Senado, some of the members of the board, kung basta available kami, pupunta kami doon. We show support. And that's work for the members, no? Napabilis ang renewal ng franchise natin.
Yeah,
meron din tayo mga meron sasabihin. Meron tayong ibang members naman na meron silang mga ginawa that we felt were kind of violative of some provisions of their franchise. At what we advise them to correct them. So hindi necessarily na we always support the member. Pag merong I remember, wag ko na sasabihin kung anong member yun, but there was a member na mali yung ginawa nila at kinwestiyon sila ng Congress. Nung pagkatapos ng hearing, sabi, ano bang ginawa? In-advise namin sila what they should do to correct that. So we will, in fact, hindi na kami nagpumilit sa Congress na dapat aprobahin ito. We know that it had to be rectified. Now, in the case of ABS-CBN, we don't think there's anything that they've done that will merit a non-approval.
All right.
Mr. President, thank you very much for your time. Any message sa publiko po sa inyong pamumuno sa kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas on this issue?
Well, ang unang message ko for the public, no, number one, I want to address yung nakikinig sa atin. I just want appeal to everyone that this issue of ABS-CBN is not a political issue at all. It's part of it is the issue of the freedoms that we have to enjoy, the freedom of expression and the freedom of the press, no? Although I don't want to talk about that because marami na nag-usap doon, no? Marami nang kasamahan natin doon, and it's partly that, but also more importantly, it's the fact that hindi dapat natin gawin politika to, because this is an issue of public concern. ABS-CBN as well as all the other broadcast outfits out there and news outfits out there are doing us service. This is an issue of public importance. We are, Jen, ikaw nandiyan ka, nag-broadcast ka, you're a frontliner, all our people there out in the field, they're doing a public service. They're doing the country a service, especially in this time of pandemic. And we know that ABS-CBN still a lot of people working as they are right now, and especially at this time when our revenues are threatened because advertisers are not advertising. But in spite of that, lahat ng members natin are still broadcasting.
That's right.
Gumagastos tayo. We are losing money right now. But what are we doing? Did we close our stations? We did not. In fact, as much as possible, keep our employees paid. kahit na nalulugi tayo, because we know when we got our franchise, we have to do a public service. So, wag natin pong sanang gawing political matter itong issue ng pagsasara ng ABS-CBN. They are doing a public service. And ang isang panawagan ko sa ating mga members of the legislature, sana naman para matapos na itong usapin ito, hear out the application na. Sana tumakbo na to, whether para may paliwanag ng ABS kung ano yung para masagot nila lahat ng mga kailangan itanong sa kanila. At the end, I'm sure the members of Congress and the members of the Senate will act judiciously. Yun lang po ang ating panawagan.
Well said, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Ruperto Jun Nicdao Jr., President of Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas. Sir, thank you very